When we talk about school discipline data, it's easy to picture a boring spreadsheet, right? Just a list of infractions. But it's so much more than that. It's actually a story, a set of clues that can help us figure out what students really need. So today, we're going to decode that story.
You know, the phrase school discipline immediately makes us think of punishment and consequences. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if the data isn't a record of failure, but a guide to understanding, a tool for support?
Because it's so easy to just see these reports as a list of mistakes. But if that's all we see, we're completely missing the bigger picture. This data, this story, actually holds the key to helping our students before things go wrong.
And that's the real power here. This is a roadmap to student success. It shows us exactly where and when we need to step in and offer support so we can finally be proactive, not just reactive.
Okay, so let's put on our detective hats. Our investigation is going to start with the minor incidents. Over 4 months, 88 of them were documented. Now, they might seem like small potatoes, but trust me, they are the very first clues to understanding the much bigger trends. So, the first clue we're on the hunt for is timing. Simple question, right? When are these incidents actually happening? Let's map it out and see what the data tells us.
Whoa! Okay, the pattern here is crystal clear. August is a pretty quiet start, everyone's settling in. September, you see it ramp up as kids start testing the boundaries. But October, a huge spike to 44%. This is when the newness is worn off and the academic pressure really starts to build. Then, things calm down in November as everyone kind of finds their groove.
And get this, that October peak isn't some weird fluke, it's a national trend. This confirms that mid-semester pressure is a real, predictable factor we absolutely have to plan for.
All right, so we know when, now let's figure out the where. The location of these incidents, that's our next big clue in understanding what our students need from us.
73%. Just let that number sink in for a second. It's massive. It means almost 3 out of every 4 of these minor incidents are all happening in the exact same kind of place.
The classroom. That's it. That is where students are signaling to us that they need help. Not on the playground, not in the cafeteria, but right there during learning time.
Okay, we've got the when and the where. Now for the what. What is triggering these behaviors? I think this might be our most revealing clue yet.
And there it is. The single biggest trigger, independent work. At 33%, a full third of the time. It's so clear that students struggle the most when they're left to work on their own. This is where we need to focus our support. But hey, minor incidents are only one piece of the puzzle. Now let's raise the stakes and look at the major incidents. There were 42 in the same time period, and this is where we can really see how those smaller issues can escalate if we don't step in. And would you look at that? The pattern is identical to the minor incidents. A slow start, that September buildup, and the exact same peak in October. This is huge. It confirms that the very same root causes are driving both the small and the big behaviors. Here's where we see the critical shift. Minor incidents are often about disrespect, which is usually a sign of frustration, right? But when that frustration isn't addressed and things escalate, it turns into physical aggression. We can literally see the path from a student feeling overwhelmed to that student lashing out. So, the classroom is still the #1 spot. But now, look what else pops up. Hallways and the gym become major hotspots. These less structured transitional spaces are where conflicts are way more likely to escalate and boil over. So, the case is cracked. The data has painted an incredibly clear picture for us. We know the when, the where, and the what. Now, the most important part. It's time to turn all these insights into action. And here is the action plan, based directly on everything we just uncovered. First, strengthen classroom routines. That tackles the 73% of incidents that start there. Second, give more support during independent work, because that's our biggest trigger. Third, tighten up those transitions between classes. That's how we reduce those major incidents in hallways and the gym. And finally, and this is the foundation for everything, we focus on relationships to get to the root cause of it all. You know, in the end, this whole investigation was never about finding culprits or placing blame. It was about finding opportunities for growth. It's a story of how data can lead us to more empathy and more understanding. And this quote just captures the entire spirit of this perfectly. Every single incident is a chance to help. It's an opportunity to coach, an opportunity to reteach, and an opportunity to reconnect with our students and get things back on track. So, the next time you see discipline data, please don't just see numbers. See the story. See the roadmap. see a chance to build a stronger, more supportive community for every single student. That's how we all grow, together.